And actually, if I'm not wrong, you don't remember badly, Marco Polo was the first European people writing about Indonesia also.
Oh, that's quite
So
interesting.
for me, is always a mix about something that is exotic, but also has a lot of opportunity. And of course, my being here in Indonesia is also because of that. And the past time when you want to navigate the world, you needed a compass. You need some reference. Now, in a global world, law can be the compass. It's just this master program is not only to help people to, develop a diplomatic or an international career, but also to be more aware about the problem and the role of their countries. And because of that, of course, the internationalization of this university will take a huge hit with this master program.
Right.
It's open for all the people around the world. So please come here, enjoy, and make also your contribution.
In fact,
And probably from still the time of Marco Polo, we have a kind of fondness with Asia.
Salam Namaste, and welcome to another edition of the Genusian podcast, where we bring you the latest events, news, and the most happening people at Nusa Putra University. The last week has been very eventful for Nusa Putra University because we have had some very exciting developments at Nusa Putra University. Last week, Nusa Putra University hosted the public debate between the candidates for the post of Bhupati, the head of the regency at Nusa Putra University. This event provided us an opportunity to give a first-hand experience to our students to see how democracy works in Indonesia. Secondly, Nusa Putra University has just opened its offices at Massachusetts in USA and in Singapore. Nusa Putra University is also opening its branch offices in Dubai very soon. As we know, the world is becoming increasingly globalized, and several problems confront us today. And these problems go across international borders, not only confined to our national territories. Some of those issues like climate change, like international trade, are issues of concern that can be solved through coordinated efforts of all countries together. And in this regard, Nusa Putra University has decided to take the initiative. I'm very glad to bring to you the news that the Senate of Nusa Putra University has approved at last the Magister Hukum program S2 for a Magister Hukum with specialization in international law, in good governance, international relations, and diplomacy. In this regard, we are honored to have with us today an esteemed expert in all these fields, Professor Marchetti from the university, who is a professor of law at the Department of Law at Nusa Putra University. Let us welcome our guest and express our gratitude for joining him. Welcome, Professor. Welcome to Nusa Putra Podcast.
Thank you to everybody, and buongiorno.
Let me introduce our guest, Professor Marco Marchetti, to you. Professor Marco Marchetti did his bachelor's from the North Italian Theological Institute. Thereafter, he did his master's in law with highest honors from the Pontifical University of the Lateran, where he continued to study and completed his doctorate in law with the highest honors, summa cum laude. Professor Marco Marchetti is a diplomat with extensive experience in different countries. And he also has done his postdoctoral studies at the Pontifical Academy of Diplomatic Studies. In course of his diplomatic service, Professor Marco Marchetti has been the Deputy Ambassador of the Vatican to Algeria, Tunisia, and Congo. Professor Marchetti joins us here today as a professor, bringing expertise and professional experience in the fields of law, international law, governance, and diplomacy. And it is our proud privilege to have him here with us today. Professor, welcome to Nusa Putra Talk, and I hope you've been enjoying your stay at Indonesia and Sukabumi.
Yes, thank you for your warm welcome. I think all the students and the staff of the university still used to see me around. It's been more or less 1 month that I arrived. And I also want to thank the director and the other staff of the university for giving me this opportunity to be here and to coordinating and start this interesting program in the master that you already mentioned.
Welcome, Professor, to Nusa Putra University Talk, the Genusian podcast. And let me ask you, how do you like your stay in Asia, coming from the beautiful cold climes of Italy?
If I have to point, as you said, I'm Italian, but I'm coming from the northeast part of Italy, the province of Veneto region. And probably from still the time of Marco Polo, we have a kind of fondness with Asia. And especially I grew up reading, all the history about his visit to China, his visiting different countries. And actually, if I'm not wrong, I don't remember badly, Marco Polo was the first European people writing about Indonesia also.
Oh, that's quite
so
interesting.
For me, is always a mix about something that is exotic, but also has a lot of opportunity. And of course, my being here in Indonesia is also because of that. When the rector called me and proposed me to come here to teach at the University of Sukabumi and to be in Nusa Putra, one of the leading role in this new master project, I was very excited and I accepted with a lot of enthusiasm.
Right.
So people in Nusa Putra will be, I think, used to see me around for a long time.
In fact, sir, you will be leading the Magister Hukum program, which is offering a specialization in international law, international good governance, and international relations and diplomacy. So, as Indonesia rises to take its rightful place in the committee of the world and to play a leading role within ASEAN and in Asia, how do you, sir, visualize the program that is going to be offered? How does it dovetail or fit into the entire vision that Nusa Putra University has for creating a cadre of trained professionals in law and diplomacy?
Thank you for the good question. We already mentioned Marco Polo, and I think as every explorer, at a certain point, you face unknown territories. So you are becoming probably the first to adventure that and to wander around. And, the past time when you want to navigate the world, you needed a compass. You need some reference. Now, in a global world, law can be the compass. And I think just analyzing the origin of the word, rule and ruler has the same semantic origin. So the etymology of rule, like ruler, is to go straight to the point.
Exactly.
And like the ruler help us to trace a straight line, maybe also law help a country, a community, and also a global interaction between nations to be straight, to be fair, to be just. So in a certain point, law can be your compass, can be your order in a chaotic and unknown world. And of course, the base of law is justice.
Right.
And it's still difficult to maybe define correctly what is justice. But if you just put in that way, justice is the use of reason against the use of force, is to bind the economical power in the favor of the people in need, is also offering a peaceful solution against a military occupation.
Right.
In that way, justice is always to take the part of the lesser in the society. So for me also, our master program will be also an ethical beacon to prepare professionals to be in this new world a reference and secure point and really good helper.
Right. Thank you, sir. In fact, the point that you made about the world being chaotic today, with all that we are seeing around ourselves, the different problems, political, even man-made climate change, etc., sir. And countries like Indonesia have a very vital role to play in this, in the way humanity develops and the world goes ahead. And in this regard, the role of diplomats and international law will certainly play an important role, since these problems often transcend boundaries. And your idea of bringing from Europe the idea of concentration in law, sir. If you can please explain to us how you plan the concentrations, what the objectives are, and how it will help fill in the gap of diplomatic training in Indonesia, sir. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say that my experience is not really concentrated in Europe. Of
Sir.
course, I'm European, and
Sir.
I feel that in my background.
Sir.
But in the global law,
Sir.
and in the global interaction between states, we have many actors right now. It's interesting that you can make a joke, because many years ago there was this scholar Fukuyama that said, okay, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the history is done.
Yes.
The Western model won, and there is no history. So
End
he
of
wrote us
history.
also
Yes, sir.
this famous book, The End of History.
Yes.
Now we are facing, in fact, many other problems, with also something that was unexpected, like, for example, a global pandemic or climate change. We still know that the climate globally is changing, but we are not completely sure in which direction and what will be the effect and how we can, solve some problems. And for that reason, I think being professional and starting a master flow in this specific case means to have first a solid base in what is international law, what are the international practice, and what are also the theory behind good governance. That will be the program of the first year. So the first year of our master project will be a very strong year, all about foundation. The second year, as we design, will be more concentrated in experiences and also in a deep analysis. So after the foundation, we want to train our students to have internship in, embassies, international NGO, but also in department of the Indonesian government, to know the concrete mechanism about that. So practical things, and also how to transfer all the theory in a deep analysis. Our suggestion is just this master program is not only to help people to, develop a diplomatic or an international career, but also to be more aware about the problem and the role of their countries. And because of that, of course, the internationalization of this university will take a huge hit with this master program.
Right.
It's open for all the people around the world. So please come here, enjoy, and make also your contribution.
In fact, sir, as you pointed out, the issue of training diplomats is one of the roles that this program will also be structured towards. So we are aiming towards providing a structured, strong foundations in international law and diplomacy. Can you please elaborate on a little bit on what the subjects that are being taught in the second year in the specialization of international law and diplomacy are, and if you can just tell us about it so that we know what is on offer in this course?
Yes, David. Thank you for the question. And if I read the master program that we agreed and the Senate of the university approved, it's a very quite huge program, and I'm thrilled and also, a little bit emotional about that, because not only the complexity of the subject, but also the things that we are offering a high education in some fields that will become very important in the future. So in our master program, we design 3 main specializations that are international law, diplomacy, and global governance. So one student after the first year can choose some different path, and with the election of special classes can also already decide what will be his path, his future career. In international law and specialization, we are going to touch, sensitive subjects like human rights, indigenous community, non-state actors in international law like NGOs. In the specialization for the diplomacy, we are going to deepen more about law and protocols, how the state, interact each other, how to write a report, and also, religions, ethics, and other value as strategy in diplomacy. We already know that not only because I was working at the Vatican, but religion is a very important component in life of more than half of the part of the world.
Exactly.
And because of that, I think every religion has also something to say about an international order and the interaction with people. And in the third specialization that we are going to offer, the global governance, of course, we are going to train people that are capable to express an opinion and to analyze facts and to comprehend words. So the possibility of careers are infinite. You can work in a governmental institution, you can help your municipality, your quota, your agency to have more international relationship. You can start your own NGO, you can fight for human rights, but also you can apply for a diplomatic career in Indonesia. And Indonesia, as an emerging regional and global power, has always need of freshly and very good trainee diplomats. As consul are attendee for commercial affair, cultural affair, but of course also in a former diplomatic career, like future ambassadors.
Yes.
And even if you don't want to go outside your country, of course, in every minister's year, you can find the need of professional when trained. And if just because of that is not enough, you can just become an international lawyer.
Absolutely.
An arbitrator. You can work internationally. And that is also one of the reasons that the majority of our classes, I want to say all, will be offered in English. So just to, take the habits to think, to express yourself in English. Not because we like English so much, but because it's now the international language. And because of that, of course, we hope that our students in the future will become so fluent in English as a second language.
Right, sir. And will they also be learning some other languages in addition to English as part of the diplomacy specialization, sir?
You are taking me straight to the point.
Sir.
I would like also to establish a strong collaboration with other international institutions and having the opportunity for our students to learn other modern languages. If English is the most common language in the world, it's true that for affairs, Chinese, Arabic are very important language. But as an Italian guy, I can say that even French, Spanish are languages that not only because the influence of their country, but also because the access of literature, of bibliography can offer you another world.
New insights into.
Yes, and of course, when you learn a language, you learn a culture, you learn
Absolutely.
a way to think, and you can read book, you can listen news, you can also understand facts from a very primary source. You don't need translators.
Right. So just to say it again, the points that you have made, Nusa Putra University is going to commence a Magister S2 level course in law with specialization in international law, international relations and diplomacy, and international governance. This course is structured to be a 2-year course, with the first year being the foundational course with core subjects being taught to all the students. And in the second year, the students have the option to choose one of 3 specialisms. The first one being international law, which will enable them to become international lawyers, practice international law, and be advisors, arbitrators, international commercial law practitioners, international criminal law practitioners, etc. The second specialization being diplomacy, with a focus on diplomatic practice, practical diplomatic practice, with a strong emphasis on international diplomatic procedure, protocols, and languages and culture, and more or less international politics as well, sir. And the third on international governance, which will prepare students to be employees of international organizations, non-governmental organizations, international institutions, multilateral institutions like ASEAN, EU, etc. So this is the structure of the program that Nusa Putra University has drawn up to prepare in a structured way brilliant students who join here to become professionals for an international career. Am I right, sir?
Yes. I'm very thrilled, as I already said, because the majority of the class will be taught personally, but we have also some kind of special seminary that we will offer as internship.
Right.
With the collaboration of other embassies, with international NGOs and agency of the United Nations, we really hope that our students will become Genusian in the world.
Yes. I'm sure it will be a rigorous course, sir, with so much of study material as you have designed, with so much of specializations and practical training in embassies, in non-governmental organizations, in UN agencies, and in government agencies as well. So I'm sure that this program, under your leadership and under your guidance, sir, will continue to provide and prepare a cadre of students who will be professionals and take the leading role in international law, diplomacy, and global governance, sir.
Yes. If you want to put in that way, is when you have a dream,
Sir.
so good and so true,
Sir.
that when you woke up, you just continue right from the dream. So I really want to say thanks to the University of Nusa Putra, and especially to the rector and the other academic staff, because they are really helping a lot to dream this dream together.
Right, sir.
And I really think will be one exceptional masterclass in Indonesia, not because of me, not because of the university, but because all the factors together. We try to put together the needs that are true of this kind of professionalism, but also our goodwill in offer the best as you see, the best as we can. And for really that reason, I have a very good sensation, and I'm working night and day,
Sir.
to see this master's success. And I really want the majority of people that come here become, even from the first generation of graduate, successful in the world.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming to Nusa Putra Genusian podcast and for your very motivating speech. And we hope that we'll have you again soon to lead, to give your insights into the program and to the other activities that are happening here, sir. And thank you once again for coming, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, it was a pleasure to have Professor Marchetti with us today and to see the way in which the Nusa Putra Magister Hukum International Law, International Good Governance and International Relations and Diplomacy program is being designed by Nusa Putra University. I hope that many people will join this new and really rigorous, very rigorous course which is being planned under the guidance of Professor Marchetti, a former diplomat who brings years of experience to Nusa Putra University. I hope that you will join us again next week for the Genusian podcast. Until then, Salam Namaste.